So, even in the ashrama system, if you see, brahmachari is considered the lowest, grihastha is even more renounced than a brahmachari, and vanaprastha is more renounced than a grihastha, and a sannyasi is most renounced. And therefore, amongst brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyasi is given the topmost respect. So you will see this common thread running all through the varnas and ashramas. Renunciation is the goal. The higher the renunciation in whichever varna and ashrama you are in, the more respected you are. It is not some based on birth, you are put into a certain caste, and then according to the caste where you have taken birth, you are given certain privileges. That was never the consideration. So if we study the Varnashrama system properly, then we can understand the spirit behind the Varnashrama system. And after following all these things, what has to happen? Actually, this Varnashrama system, it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto, it is said that Mukhabahuru Padebhyaha Purushasyashramaihi Saha Chatvaro Jajnire Varna Gunair Vipradaya Pratak. These 4 varnas and ashramas were created by the Supreme Lord from the Virat Purusha's head, the Brahmanas came, from his arms, the Kshatriyas came, from his belly, the Vaishyas came, and from his legs, the Shudras have come forth. So this system of Varnashrama is created by the Supreme Lord himself. It is not some artificial system created by some individual. This again shows that the Varnashrama system is not meant for exploitation. It is meant for achieving the Supreme Lord through increasing levels of renunciation in the different varnas and ashramas. There is an aspiration created. When we say this is higher and this is lower, the person who is lower gets an aspiration, I should go to the next level. And if a person has to elevate himself to the next level, what is the essential thing required? He has to increase his renunciation. So the whole idea of creating this Varnashrama system and creating superior and inferior is to give a person a good understanding, realistic understanding where I am situated in terms of my renunciation from this material sense gratificatory activities and where I have to go next. So next, one by one he can keep progressing higher and higher. So this is a system which is created by the Supreme Lord himself. It is not created by some ordinary living entity. And so therefore this system has a certain, it has got its authenticity and it has got its validity from the Supreme Lord himself. But then after following all these processes in the Varnashrama system and following, one may be a very rigid Shilonchana, or one may be a very rigid follower of Phenapa, or one may be a very rigid Naishtika Brahmachari, or one may be a very rigid sannyasi. He may be all these things. But ultimately, if the Srimad Bhagavatam says that Ya yesham purusham sakshad atma prabhavam ishwaram na bhajanti avajananti sthanat brashtaha padantyadaha. All these Varnashrama, various divisions are created and people are situated in different Varnas and Ashramas. But if the people become proud and arrogant, oh, I am a Brahmana, I am a Shilonchana Brahmana, so everybody else has to respect me. If he loses sight that it is meant to elevate him to become more and more renounced, to be able to surrender to the Supreme Lord and go back to Godhead, if that vision is lost, then Ya yesham purusham sakshat, one who forgets this central point of the Varnashrama system, and avajananti, they neglect worshipping the Supreme Lord, na bhajanti, and don't render devotional service to Supreme Lord Krishna, even though you may be strictly following Shilonchana Brahmana and strictly following Naishtika Brahmacharya, etc., sthanat brashtaha, he is considered a sthana brashta. His practice of the Varnashrama system has got corrupted. He has become a corrupt Shilonchana Brahmana. He has become a corrupt Naishtika Brahmachari. He has become a corrupt Phenapa Vanaprastha. His whole position is Sthana Brashta. Sthanat Brashta Patantyadaha. And they fall down into the lower forms of life. Instead of elevating themselves, they will fall down, further down. Fall down means they will go into more bodies which are governed more and more by Tamoguna. Instead of progressing towards a body of higher Sattva-guna and getting liberated, that will not happen. So, we may follow all the Varnashrama system very rigidly, but if we don't render devotional service to Krishna, it will give the reverse result. Instead of advancing, we will regress. On the other hand, if we surrender to Krishna, and if we render devotional service to Krishna, although one may not be following all the Varnashrama system, still he is considered higher than all the Varnashrama system. He is considered the topmost person. So, this is the whole process of Varnashrama system.